It's Slam Nation time! Woo, woo, woo!
Yes, it is Lord Cash, all that Pat, and the New York Nerd Show Thunderdome, right? They emanated this week for the last time in the real Thunderdome, but yes, we're happy to have you here tonight, Lord Cash, as we always say. You doing well over there?
Oh, I am doing pretty darn well. Elsa's officially gone out of the way. We actually haven't had some rain here in the last day, I think. So knock on wood. But it is still warm down here in the old Florida, Central Florida area. So yeah, it's toasty, but I think you know all about the toastiness.
Yeah, I was going to say our weather for sure is mimicking yours quite a bit. I think Elsa has been traveling up here, or it's remnants of it for sure, with the rain and the heat. But things are going to get hot in the world of WWE tonight because a lot of stuff happened over the past week. We actually had a couple different breaking news stories, throughout the weekend with Bayley getting injured and being out for 9 months, removing her from the Money in the Bank card. Hall of Famer, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, dying yesterday, passing away at 71. And now we've got the first WWE pay-per-view, hopefully post-pandemic area, we can say, with Money in the Bank coming in just 5 days. Lots of big stuff coming up. And, Friday started off with quite a surprising thing. When the show began with the Usos, were you surprised to actually see Jimmy Uso in the ring after his arrest the other day?
To be honest, no, I kind of didn't. I feel very similar to how, and I'm going to go back to the click photo. Two people were leaving the company. One person had the title, and so there was one person left over to take a lot of the brunt. So I have a feeling they're still going to keep Jimmy around. They're just going to punish him in other ways. Possibly, have him go for a title shot at this or a title shot at that, or just get a big beat down, going through tables, going through ladders, just all sorts of stuff. I have a feeling he's going to get disciplined in a different way because of the fact of how closely he is tied to Roman Reigns and his storyline, that fact that they've been building up for all this time. To remove him and punish him that way, I feel that would have been a disservice to Roman Reigns, who, to my knowledge, hasn't done anything wrong. He's been towing the line. He's been carrying the company. He's been doing an amazing job as the head of the table role that his character is personifying. So to keep Jimmy out of there, you're only going to hurt the bigger picture of, Roman Reigns. So,
you bring up a really good point with that, because it would hurt the story and even hurt his brother too.
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking they may, they may go up against the Mysterios, and then just get squashed.
True, the Mysterios did make a comeback last night, and that might be exactly what they're going for.
So, because I know that they want to get that next tag title under their belt, but I just have a feeling, they're going to punish them in other ways.
Right, very well possible. Basically that opening segment just more or less set up the collaboration between the family, show them on the same page, and that would lead to later on in the show get talked about with the Mysterios making the comeback. Right. We did also have just a Money in the Bank qualifying match to get one of the last spots as King Nakamura continued his feud with Baron Corbin, who continues to go spiraling down the drain. Pat McAfee had a line, and I wish I could remember the direct quote, but it had something to do with Baron Corbin's hairline now being seen because he's not shaved bald.
Right.
It's something along the lines of he doesn't have a receding hairline. His hairline is in a full retreat or something along those lines. But whatever it was made me laugh quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure how I feel about just going on commentator wise, how I feel about Pat McAfee as, who he is. So I know now that we've got him in the kind of calling this with Michael Cole. The dynamic is really working out fairly well. I think of the two of them. He's definitely a lot more animated.
Oh yeah.
When King Nakamura and Mr. Boogs comes out, he's like literally squatting right on Michael Cole's head and like bouncing up and keeping his butt right on his head. I don't know if you saw that the other. I think it was last Fridays. That when he came out, he literally was like squatting over him and just like dropping his butt right on his head, on Michael Cole's head.
Yeah, I mean,
like, okay, this is awkward.
But you need that though. It's kind of like Mauro Ranallo always brought the energy, and even Corey Graves, he has that like dynamic of being creative about behind the mic. I think having somebody that is clever, creative, and full of excitement gets the viewers hopefully excited as well.
Right. So, but other than that, the match was really good. Unfortunately, Corbin is still going down this slope. I still hold to my prediction that he's going to get gobbled up by the Alpha Academy or something to that caliber. I can't, unless he like does a rebranding of himself. The Alpha Academy is the only thing I can think that's logical. Storyline from, because again he's hot rock bottom. He's no longer the alpha in his life. Join the academy and I'll take you to number one.
And I haven't heard anybody else say that other than you, but I think it's a fantastic thought though, because it'd be something different and hopefully maybe unexpected, but that would help that stable.
But again, what type of tag team would Otis and Corbin be? That would be amazing.
No, you're right, and like both guys are historically protected,
right?
Otis has not taken very many losses, even as a face, and Corbin is the same way. He's on his losing streak right now, but in general, he's always been a protected guy. Yeah. So we'll have to see, what's in the future for him. We are going to see the fourth and final member of the SmackDown brand qualify for Money in the Bank just a little bit later on. If you've been looking at the comment and put it in there, you kind of already know who it is. But we will see a little bit how Seth Rollins does end up qualifying. But of these four, it's important to think: do any of them actually have standout ability for being a Money in the Bank winner? We'll talk about that ourselves in a little bit. But put in the comment though, if you give a thought: does Big E, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, or Nakamura stand a chance in the Money in the Bank next week? Well,
yeah, who's your number one favorite from the SmackDown roster to possibly be able to take that briefcase off the hook?
Yes, exactly. SmackDown actually had a couple, quite a few surprises this week, actually. The first one, I think these are all ripple effects, quite honestly, from Bayley getting injured and them having to shuffle up the top of the card so much. But we saw the debut on the main roster of Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. Definitely helped the women's tag team division, which is sorely lacking. Now, Tegan Nox has been out for an injury for a better part of a year and a half. And she had about 3 month, maybe it's less than that, but she had this like mystery build on NXT where they just showing like a battery charger constantly charging until the big reveal was she was the one that was fully charged because she was coming back from her third knee injury in less than 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of surprising to some people that they did this build up in NXT just to say, up and you're gone. Shotzi, very similarly, she was the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions with her partner Ember Moon, and instead of bringing Ember Moon along with her, they just shoehorned Tegan Nox into this pairing. Now, as I don't think that you watch NXT all that much, do you, Lord Cash?
Not on a regular basis. There was a good period a year ago that I was probably at the same time, which I'm noticing that a lot of my TV shows that I would regularly watch that would be taking up a lot of my, quote unquote time. I'm running out of them.
Right.
So I think I did this last summer where like, okay, let me dive back into AEW. Let me dive back into NXT because again, that's, a couple hours of, programming that I could be watching throughout the week that could fill up my time. So there's a good chance that I'm probably going to be jumping into them a little bit more. But I do recognize these two new ladies that have joined the SmackDown roster, and I've been impressed with them from what I've seen of them on NXT. You can't. It's very hard to ignore the little tank that drives down to the ring
Exactly.
over NXT. It's really hard to not know that.
Exactly. And they established their gimmick. They established themselves right away. They also put over some of their moves, like Shotzi did get the win clean over the champions with what they called the ball pit, which was basically the a senton bomb off the top rope.
Right.
Right there's the ball pit. It's just nice to have like another team in the WWE Women's Title picture. It's unfortunate they got rid of the Riot Squad because they were lacking women's teams to begin with, but they have something, and they weren't the only ones that were kind of debuted on the main roster on Friday, because it did also mention that, oh my God, the NXT UK, Toni Storm is also on her way to the blue brand.
Right. Yeah. I saw that that they had her on her way, and I did have the graphic for it. I just never loaded into the system. So yeah, she's on her way. Coming soon to SmackDown. So hasn't debuted yet, but again, she is definitely on her way.
Yeah, she did. She was either the inaugural or second. I think it was inaugural NXT UK Women's Champion. She had a hell of a run then. She did actually. She was in the Women's Royal Rumble this year, so she has had a little bit of experience on the main roster, but not much. So I mean, those three women alone are going to be like really giving an infusion of competitors, which honestly the division needs. And coming back into actual wrestling is helping too. Bayley, as we did talk about, was injured while training. She's going to be out for the better part of 9 months. That opened up some opportunities now for the championship match to be moved and adjusted. It's no longer going to be on Money in the Bank. It's going to be next Friday on SmackDown, which is going to be the first SmackDown with fans. So that's going to be pretty cool in itself. But she is going to do
for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen how Carmella and Liv Morgan have had a little bit of back and forth. Liv Morgan not feeling like she's being respected. To continue that, she came out and just started talking smack at Sonya Deville about why she getting the title shot. Be honest with you, this reminded me of my own life at times where I feel like I kind of run my mouth before I actually listen to the whole story.
Right.
But we did learn that Liv Morgan is going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match officially. So a lot of good stuff coming up there. And I know Lord Cash, Liv Morgan's one of your favorites for Money in the Bank.
Like I said, she's my number one favorite right now for the SmackDown brand. I'm curious, because again, over on the Raw side, it's Nikki Ash. I feel either one of these has done the work and definitely deserves getting in this place to actually take the title, get the Money in the Bank briefcase. So I'm pulling for her. If she's going up the ladder, I'm definitely going to be rooting for her. If Nikki's doing the same thing, I'm going to be rooting for her as well. So those are at least of the 6 that are shown on the screen right now. Those are my 2 picks that I would like to see have it.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that we didn't see Zelina Vega because she just came out of nowhere surprisingly last week, got put in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and then she wasn't on this past Friday that I saw.
Yeah, no, I'm curious as to what's going on with that. I'm wondering if there's any recoil from WWE with Malachi Black debuting over in AEW, if there's any, you know what, we're going to keep her off screen for at least these 2 weeks until it's actually Money in the Bank, just to kind of not have that association with.
Right. And if you're not aware, they are she's either in a relationship with him or it's her wife or his, you know what I mean? Like they're actually married, I believe, one or the other.
They're in a relationship of some sort, a romantic relationship, whether it's just dating or actually married, but they are, you know, they're together.
Right. Now, with the whole idea of Bayley being injured and being out, do you think that we're going to have a continuation of any point of her Ding Dong Hello show, much like Miz TV has continued? We don't know what her injury is, to be honest with you. That's 9 months.
That's the thing, is here's the thing. Mathematically, she's out for 9 months.
I know where you're going to go with this because I was talking to Bitteritz about this. Continue.
I'm sure we're on the same page here, but you do the math. 9 months from now,
Becky Lynch was not injured. That'll be our connection.
Oh,
maybe not then. I was thinking she might not be injured. She might be pregnant.
No. My thing is, you know, you fast forward 9 months. That's WrestleMania season.
Right.
That is the perfect time and a perfect opportunity to get that huge pop from WrestleMania. That if she does stay away, you just get that. You get that Triple H, that John Cena, that, you know, all that big pop of someone who's been gone for a long time, and, you know, someone just running. You know, one of the female competitors is just running their mouth saying, I've done this, I've be this person. There is not a single person back in that locker room that I can't take. Boom, hits her music. And she walks out, wipes the floor with them, and establishes her back as a persona within the company.
I think that'll be a cool opportunity for her to be a good guy again. You know, a lot of times that's what ends up happening. Like you mentioned, Triple H, you know, he was a heel when he was out with his quad injury, we came back at Madison Square Garden. Everybody had to cheer for him almost because of what he had been through.
And again, it's you have those one or two shows that their face, but then, you know, it's very similar. I was out and you guys cheered for me when I came back, but not one of you sent me any. You know, I got no thinking of you cards, you know, while I was out. No one said hello, no one did anything. So this is all on you, and turn heel again.
Right, very well possible. I mean, she already blamed the fans in that in that kayfabe interview. Basically, they showed her with like a knee injury of some sort.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens for sure, because again, that was a huge shakeup just in the whole division by having her out.
And that's one thing, is like, I would like to still see her around, very similar to how, you know, the Miz is still involved in the storyline. You know, he's in the wheelchair, he's doing this, but he's still able to be a part of the show. We're not forgetting about him. So even though he, you know, that's his claim to fame, is he's never been injured, you know, and he's never missed work because of injury. You know, that he's been written out and gone off and do this movie, this TV show, this whatever, but he's never missed work because of an injury. He still is showing up and being a part of programming, so he is still doing that. So to me, he still owns that mantra. You know,
no, exactly, and I guess
but he's still there.
Right, and it's pretty clear Bayley's injury is more severe because, you know, Miz's, I don't think he's going to be out for another 6 months, you know, or 7 months. But now the next match kind of already spoiled earlier tonight by accident, but it was another Money in the Bank qualifying match between Cesaro and Seth Rollins. I'm just a big Cesaro fan, and I'm being slightly pessimistic here, but I feel that a lot of the progress they made with Seth during this feud with Cesaro over the past 5 months, with Daniel Bryan putting him over, him getting wins over Seth, they're starting to chip away now because Seth is now pulled ahead, and he's getting more wins than Cesaro is now. And this, in my opinion, was a perfect opportunity to put Cesaro in the Money in the Bank, but instead, we've got Seth in there now. What are your thoughts on that, Lord Cash?
It would have been a great opportunity to move his character forward. I'm not certain as to what do they have in store for him outside of now not Money in the Bank. Like, is he going to be feuding with someone?
Like Cesaro or Seth Rollins?
Cesaro, because again, Seth Rollins at least is going to be within the Money in the Bank. So he's there, he's locked up. And then, of course, depending on what happens in Money in the Bank, you know, there's going to be a rivalry there. You know, Riddle's going to push him off or something of that nature. There's going to be someone, if Seth Rollins doesn't win, then whoever prevented him from getting the win, there's going to be that feud.
Right. I've already heard rumors on the internet that they're going to be feuding. He's going to be feuding with Edge possibly. So, yeah, he doesn't need this. He just doesn't. So, you know, and I feel that the Roman Reigns feud is already kind of not a guarantee, but it's a foregone conclusion because of their history. So,
right.
Again, yeah, I think Cesaro does not have anything right now unless he joins Alpha Academy, but even that would be a step back. I mean, he needs to stand out on his own, in my opinion, and I think in both of our opinions.
Yeah. I don't know where he's going to go from here.
Right.
Unless, because I can't even see him like challenging for the IC title.
No.
You know, at least to get a title under his belt. Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm trying to think of like storyline wise, what could be in the future for Cesaro that would prevent him from going down the route of the Money in the Bank.
Exactly. He's got no other options that we can see. Granted, we don't write the stories, we don't book the creative, so maybe they'll surprise us, you know. It's just disappointing. You know, it's just disappointing that they had this opportunity because when they first started doing the Money in the Bank lineup this year, it felt like it was nothing but non-champions. You know what I mean? Just like I was like, that's so cool, a lot of fresh faces, and now it's kind of gotten more equal down the line. So again, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, but we'll move forward as far as hopefully things do work out. Now, let's see. And you know, it's kind of a repeat in some ways, but you know, Edge did come out and he continues to basically put over this like idea of having a crossface as his secondary finish, which is cool. But I was always a fan of the Educator. That was a step over a reverse sharpshooter thing, but that's, you know, is what it is. But yeah, he had a showdown for Roman Reigns, you know, set up the main event, and again, that how Lord Cash, I right back.
So right now, I think all that Pat's having a little connectivity issues. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the Edge moment here. Definitely, Edge came out. He's going to be fighting Roman Reigns. Called out Roman Reigns, and with that, then of course, you know, his cousins came out, and he really didn't want him out there, and it just one thing led to another, and of course, they pretty much were attacked by the Mysterios. They came out while Edge was in the ring with Roman Reigns. Next thing you know, you hear the Mysterios' music hitting, and of course, that just did not bode well for the Usos there. Welcome back, all that, Pat.
Yeah, I just got my laptop froze up, so I had to kind of grab a charger for it and everything, and like I couldn't hear anything. So, but yes, I am back.
Yeah, it was kind of you're going to look very robotic. So I'm like, I was just waiting for the question so I can like run with it, but I never was able to get the question as to show stuff. So yeah.
No, you're all good. So yeah, but basically saying SmackDown ended with just like a very similar thing, leading into Money in the Bank. Edge has the advantage going into this match. We'll have to see if it actually continues in his favor or not. But we'll see. We'll do like a little preview in a little bit. So.
Yes. So that was pretty much how SmackDown ended.
Yep.
Is it time to switch over to Raw?
I'm looking in your screen.
That's what I'm like. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting the moment where I'm like, and it's Raw time.
Bam.
So of course we always like to start off Monday Night Raw with those matches that did not make the quote unquote final cut of the Hulu session. So these are the ones that WWE kind of felt that just based on the flow and the storyline of the show, they just didn't quite make it into the show. So they, of course, ended up on the cutting room floor. Now, some of these matches, one of them, I'm like, well, yes. That kind of, I understand why that one ended up on the cutting room floor because there was hardly anything to it. However, the other two matches, they kind of went one with each other. So, of course, you couldn't have one and play the other because storyline-wise, they went together. So, easy to have both of them.
Both Viking Raiders matches got eliminated, I assume.
Yep. So, first it starts off with Ivar going up against AJ Styles. Both of them come out, start doing a little smack talk. And then, of course, both of the Viking Raiders. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they come out as... Were they the Viking Raiders? Then they got changed to the Viking Experience, and now they're back as the Viking Raiders, or were they just a Viking Experience and then changed to Viking Raiders?
So it's funny that you say that because that was going through my mind when I saw them too last night. Oddly enough, at NXT they were War Machine. Then when they first debuted on Raw, they were the Viking Experience, and then they changed to Viking Raiders, and they kept the Viking Experience as the name of their finishing move.
Okay. Well, Ivar, like I said, he goes up against AJ Styles. The match was pretty good, but Ivar pretty much kind of dominated that match.
And he got a clean pin, and I liked it. He did like almost like a jumping senton press on him. I was like, I figured he was going to win, because I knew it was going to be 50-50 booking one way or another.
Right.
I figured it'd be like the roll up out of nowhere. But when he beat him with an actual move, I was like, okay.
Yeah. So then we had our singles debut of Omos going up against Eric. And this one kind of went the other way around, where Omos definitely was the one that controlled most of the match. And ended up beating Eric pretty cleanly, I feel. So what was your thoughts on this match?
It was a foregone conclusion by the time they got there, but I would have been shocked if Omos lost his debut anyway. Right. Omos did not impress me, but he did not disappoint me.
Right.
They booked him and he wrestled like Great Khali.
Right.
All the way down to his finish. But he had more charisma, I guess. And he almost fell down only twice, whereas Khali almost fell down every time he moved.
Right.
But he still doesn't come across as a wrestler to me. He's just like, it's like your friend that's just really tall.
Right.
He's not athletic in the sense of like wow factor. But again, I'm not complaining. I'm just kind of like, I'm waiting for that one thing to really kick off the gear where he's just kind of like, again, he hasn't done anything special to me.
Right. Now, the Viking Raiders, are technically the number one
The number one contenders. Yeah.
So were you surprised that they actually announced that the Viking Raiders are going to be having a match at Money in the Bank against AJ Styles and Omos?
No, because I mean, the WWE over the past month or two had been doing a lot of shuffling with their matches. You know, where it was infamously when the Rey Mysterio Roman Reigns Hell in a Cell ended up being on SmackDown, right?
Right.
So, because that match you're talking about with the Raw tag titles was originally going to be next week on Raw.
Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to be like, because it was booked for next week on the 19th. That first Raw in front of a live audience, they were going to have a champion match, which, depending on how the outcome of this goes, it could be either a rematch because, you know, AJ, you know, does some tomfoolery shenanigans going on, or the Viking Raiders take the title and it's a rematch.
You know, I could see them doing it that way, actually, as a way to protect the Viking Raiders. I'm still really assuming that you're going to have the heel AJ Styles and Omos going against RK Bro at SummerSlam. Because if they did the tag title match with the Viking Raiders coming in, I think fans are going to crap all over them because they want RK Bro to win the titles.
Right.
He wasn't going in that direction. Randy's already missing, and they blew it. I will say, as we'll talk about in a minute, I thought about the surprise. I think last week I said it, where maybe Riddle wins the briefcase and cashes it in as a tag title shot. I called that, and then they said it, though, and now I'm like, oh, they're never doing it. That's right. You know, if they said it, it's not going to happen. Now, the other cutting room floor match, you know, it was they've done this many times. I don't understand what the purpose is for this guy, but Humberto Carrillo, you know, he spends more time on the mat than Rembrandt. I think that was one of the old Bobby Heenan jokes. Or more time on the canvas, whatever it is. I like this mask for some reason. I kind of like the mask, even though it's protective gear. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I swear to God, that's happened to Carrillo like at least 2 other times.
Well, and I meant to grab some of the clips of beforehand, but basically Sheamus jumps him backstage, and pretty much, you know, hurts him so that way he's not able to compete. And he gets knocked out in 30 seconds. He gets hit with a big old boot to the face and gets pinned. So Sheamus wins. However, Damian Priest does kind of come out as a little bit of a protector for Humberto. So I would not be surprised if that gets added either to Money in the Bank, or that will be a match in front of live audience. Where do you see that match actually going? Do you actually think that Damian Priest versus Sheamus at Money in the Bank, or do you feel that's going to be on the 19th in their first live audience?
Neither. That's a SummerSlam match all night long.
Okay.
They're going to give proper build to it because they want Damian Priest to be the face of the mid card. All that time and money they invested with his involvement with Bad Bunny, I think they just kind of didn't plan properly. I think it's kind of said, "Oh wait, hold up, we don't want him to lose Money in the Bank, but we have to go through another 2 months before we can give him the U.S. title." So I think they just kind of he's been like a holding pattern until now. Money in the Bank's too soon. And I think that the Raw is going to be too soon. I really think they're going to push for him winning the belt in Vegas. It's Vegas, right, that they're doing SummerSlam? Or is that this?
Yes, that's Vegas.
Yeah, so I mean, that's where it's going to happen. I think that Damian Priest is going to win the U.S. title, and he's going to knock off Sheamus, ending Sheamus's 5-month reign.
Well, it's funny you speak of that because I went ahead and I looked up everyone's little title reign. And as of right now, Sheamus has been the U.S. champion for 93 days.
I can't over 15 days. How did that man make it over 2 weeks?
But it's difficult to it's very easy to keep it if you're never on Raw, or if
True.
you do, you're just running in the ring, distracting R-Truth, and you run away.
Right.
So Bobby Lashley has been champion for 134 days. The tag champs for 87, and Rhea since WrestleMania 93.
Wait a minute.
Or
Put the. How is that accurate? AJ Styles and Omos won the tag titles at WrestleMania. So did Sheamus.
there is a possibility I added wrong. Hang on, let me refresh my screen over here. So Sheamus, yeah. So apparently I didn't carry over the number. So yeah, Sheamus should be at 92, and AJ Styles and them should be at 93. So that is my apologies.
No, you're good. When you guys give us your subscribers, right? If you share, like, and subscribe, please do not hold our math against us. It's okay.
The one thing one math I do think I have right is a remarkable 317 days for Roman Reigns. That he's held this belt. Which, if you've noticed, every other person I have pictures of them without the belt. Roman Reigns is the only one that I do not have a picture of when he's not holding the belt.
Well, he's had a title for, I don't know how many times he's held the main title, but it's been a long period of his career, that's for sure.
And I did not want one with his shield vest on.
True, right.
So, but yeah, we'll see if Sheamus does have it past this. I'm looking to update this every week just to kind of see who's got the title, how long have they been holding on to it. So that way, when they do lose it, I'll try to reset the counters and things of that nature.
Right. Now, Raw. One of the big things that started the show off was Bobby Lashley continuing his feud with Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Going into this, yeah, he fought Xavier Woods in a one-on-one. Going into this, I think the good money was on Lashley just tearing through him and beating him. Basically maybe injuring him. Just kind of get some sympathy on the New Day members. And it was halfway there. I mean, Lashley beat the tar out of him for the most part. I mean, Xavier, as you see in these highlights, Xavier got a lot of shots in, but it was pretty clear by the end that Lashley had his number. He wasted his time. And we saw one of the biggest upsets on Monday Night Raw clean. Xavier Woods pinned the almighty Bobby Lashley, and that kind of got the wheels rolling in my head, with Big E possibly winning Money in the Bank, Kofi possibly winning the world title on Sunday, Xavier pinning the current champion. How does the New Day factor into the plans for SummerSlam next month? Throw it in the comments if you guys have some ideas, because we'll be talking about that a lot as well over the next, bit.
Yeah. In what regards are you like alluding to there?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways you could look at it, right? Kofi wins the belt on Sunday.
Right.
Xavier Woods could be considered a number one contender now. And
to go against Kofi?
Yeah. A face versus face, brother versus brother match. And then Big E wins Money in the Bank. All of a sudden, you have all three members of the New Day sniffing around the main title picture.
Right.
And I don't think anybody's going to turn. And we've talked about that a couple times. I could just see kind of one of those things where, like, maybe Big E calls his shot and goes for Kofi. Maybe there's a three-way with all three members of the New Day main eventing SummerSlam.
Right.
One hell of a match. Their chemistry is there.
Absolutely. I don't know if I see WWE pulling that trigger.
What else do these guys have? They've accomplished everything.
Well, as soon as Bobby Lashley no longer has the belt, Drew McIntyre is now back in the picture.
Jinder Mahal's taking him out.
Like taking him out?
No, like as they showed on the next segment on Raw. This kind of ties into what we're talking about. is McIntyre. He had lost his family sword last week, to Jinder. Jinder came out with his goons. It was like, oh, look what I did with this sword. They broke it. Somehow McIntyre is like, no, you didn't, fella, or whatever he says. He's like that was a replica. I mean, that this was, in my opinion, it was a joke writing. And then of course, Jinder rides his motorcycle out. He rode out twice now, I think, and of course he just destroys it. But I kind of I want to talk about that one all within this, because I do think that whatever happens on Money in the Bank, I think that SummerSlam is going to be Mahal versus McIntyre.
Based on how they're going with storyline, I can definitely see that happening. Jinder's possibly going to interfere and thankfully prevent Drew McIntyre from getting the briefcase.
Right.
So, which again, we've kind of suggested that it's a shame that he's involved in the Money in the Bank, because again, so many people in this match have never been, main title holders.
Right. But if he's just put there to kind of put over Jinder Mahal and bring him back into the fold, it seems like now, okay. I'm okay with it. But yeah, exactly. When this first one happened, we were both very annoyed. So we'll have to kind of also chew on this a little bit and kind of mull over this idea of the New Day and what their summer looks like.
But I just, like I said, I'm sure there's something out there. I don't see, because again, for that to happen, that would mean Big E would have to jump back to Raw.
But it's always been wide open. But they usually don't, but that's always had the ability to. And with the draft coming up, right around SummerSlam, I think even storyline purposes, it's going to be, completely loose anyway.
Right. Just because I can't see them switching titles and moving the Universal to Raw.
Right.
Only because when the Universal debuted, it was red belt. Now it's over on SmackDown. It's a blue belt. So they would have to rebrand it again and bring back the red belt.
Or they do what the Street Profits and New Day did here. And they just traded them on that episode of SmackDown.
Right.
No, I agree with you. I don't think the belts are going to change hands as far as the title holder will stay where they're at. I just think that Big E could go for that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Yes, he could call out Kofi and challenge him for the title. Just be like, look, there's no animosity here. This is just, I want to see who's better, you or me.
Right.
I respect to respect. I just want to see who's better within the square circle. And yes, I can do that. But again, if he doesn't go to Raw, then he's not going to win the belt.
Or continuing to that whole idea, Big E stays on SmackDown. He's the one that beats Roman Reigns. We finish SummerSlam with a WrestleMania 20-esque Eddie Benoit, where they had the big embrace because these two lifelong friends had now risen to the top. Now
I could see more.
Yeah,
I can see that happening a lot more. And then that would lead, then of course, if they held the title for the next 3 months, November, you got Survivor Series. That's when you would have Kofi Kingston going up against Big E and a mutual respect, because it's brand against brand.
Yep, that's perfect. See, WWE hire one of us.
Hire both of us. Come on, man.
That's true. They should hire both of us. Imagine, presented by Slam Nation.
There you go. Because again, we feed off each other. You give me ideas, I give you ideas. I take what you say and run with it.
Ditto.
So anyway, so like I said, WWE hire both of us.
We talked about how the women, the women basically had a a four-way match, kind of like with the different women that are part of Money in the Bank on the Raw brand. Nikki Cross has 100% officially been renamed Nikki Ash because she's even announced with it. Her Titantron says it now too. It's a solid match. I like that Alexa Bliss has been able to actually transition back into the ring with this character. They're still trying to work some things out. Apparently, her next feud is going to be with Eva Marie and Doudrop. Interesting. Doudrop basically eliminated her from this match by just dumping her over the barricade. She vanished. And Nikki Cross, gets the win. She upsets Asuka. Not really upset. Still no graphic on that. I noticed too. They haven't updated her gimmick yet. Bottom line is though, another solid push for your other favorite in the women's division, Nikki Ash. She's looking strong going into Money in the Bank.
That she does. Also, one of the things that just all of a sudden happened, I don't know if you're noticing the graphic, but 7 of the ladies are spoken for. They added Natalya.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out, because she's from SmackDown. So all of the Raw women have had to compete to get their spot. Where all the SmackDown women, you've got Zelina.
It just got announced by what's her face, by Sonya Deville. So
and then of course Carmella.
Yep.
She just got announced. Now the only one that she didn't have an official qualifying match, but Liv Morgan got thrown right in just because technically she's beaten both of the 2 competitors that were in Money in the Bank. Yeah. But again, they just bumped up Carmella to the title picture. And then of course they just added Natalya.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like, I don't know if they have a storyline purpose for that. I doubt it as a fan, but that just screams to me that the right hand doesn't communicate with the right left hand or whatever. There's a phrase that goes with that.
Yeah, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Yeah, it's very inconsistent on both companies. It's been like that for a while. Both brands, I should say. But yeah, right, I found that very interesting as well. And then we still have another 8th, and I'm still calling that it's going to be Sonya Deville herself, but we shall see. If somebody else is needed.
So my question is, if you've got Natalya added, why wouldn't the obvious answer be Tamina?
Technically, the reason why Natalya was added, according to Twitter, when that was announced online, was Sonya Deville basically said that she wanted somebody with the most seniority that has earned her way throughout her experience in the company. Tamina wouldn't fall into that category for sure. No, I know.
Pardon me while I just turn the other way.
No, I'm just thinking about that as far as if they're trying to be a storyline purpose. I still think that Sonya Deville would make a cool surprise.
It would. It would, just because, but again, I know, I'm trying to think of going back storyline wise. How did she actually end up where she was? Basically, didn't she have
to retire? She got a loser leaves WWE, lost to Mandy Rose.
Right, I was gonna say, but that was on Raw, right?
Yeah.
So that's why she's more on SmackDown, and she's kind of Adam Pearce's, lackey over there. Because you really don't see her doing much of stuff over on Raw. Well, I guess technically she kind of does a little bit.
Yeah, she's on both brands. She's definitely been represented on both brands.
Yeah. So, but it's just how she just ended up in this place of empowerment. There was never really any, hey, you won this contest and now you are, Adam Pearce's, equal.
Yeah, I think it's from a real life situation. They wanted to give her the woman Sonya Deville a little bit of a test to get back in, so she doesn't lose her career because of an unfortunate situation she had no control of.
Right.
But yeah, now they're gonna. We'll just have to see because, like I said, she's got to wrestle at some point again. You would think.
Well, one would hope.
Right. Definitely the match of the night, at least in my opinion, came next. Johnny Drip Drip, America's Most Wanted, went up against Ricochet. These guys have been able to prove for years that when they're called upon, when they're given the opportunity to go, they can go.
Do you think that this is this generation's DX?
What?
Would you put The Miz and Johnny Drip Drip on their wrestling and their comedic skills and everything? Would you compare them to Triple H and Shawn Michaels and DX?
No.
Okay.
No. And I honestly thought you meant Ricochet and John Morrison at first. I'm like, I don't get comparison. What?
No, just because of they are, and I'm mostly comparing this to when Shawn Michaels came back in the late 2000s before retiring, where it's just like they had nothing to prove, but they were just going out there and having fun. And it seems that that's kind of the mentality that The Miz and John Morrison they're having right now. They are definitely veterans within the company. They've been around for 10, 15 plus years, and they're just kind of out there going, okay, we've gotten The Miz has got all the titles.
He's a Hall of Famer for sure.
John Morrison, he's got a bunch of titles under his belt as well. And it's like, what more do they have to prove?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just like, as they were kind of coming down, I saw them having fun, and it just made me think of DX.
I agree with you on that. Then, the only reason why I like guffawed, but like when I really hear what you're saying is like I don't think that Morrison is respected in the company. I don't think he's held in high regard.
Okay.
He's often put out there to take a loss for no reason. And they have never gotten behind the guy.
Right.
Miz, 100%. I could see Miz in one of those two roles you're mentioning. I do think that together, I wouldn't be surprised if you met John Morrison tomorrow and he's like, whatever. He's like, I'm here to get a paycheck. I'm here to have fun. He might not care about getting in the main event scene like some of the fans do.
Right.
But I guess the bottom line is, though, he's fantastic acrobatically. Him and Ricochet stole the show the last 3 weeks of Raw without question. And Sunday's going to be no different.
Absolutely. I do agree with that.
So, yeah, I just think that's an interesting comparison, though, because Lord knows I have made way bigger stretches.
Like I said, just as they're wheeling down, and like I said, The Miz is still on screen. He's quote unquote injured for the moment, but he's still relevant. He's still keeping himself in the eyes of the people, and to do that and still have a way of using the wheelchair as a gimmick.
Well, I love the turtling, by the way, when what's his face Riddle tipped him over nicely, though. He was very gentle.
But it's just I feel it's very much on par with I can totally see Shawn Michaels doing the little in the wheelchair trying to stop someone from getting back in the ring against Triple H. Like I said, maybe it's just I see The Miz as Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And John Morrison's there just along for the ride.
He's the Hornswoggle during that era.
I was gonna say the X-Pac or something. I don't know.
Well, I will tell you, John Morrison is going to be bringing home some bank. I don't think he's winning the briefcase, but how many of those dripsticks are they going to sell at the merch stand that night?
Yep,
that's a big thing.
It comes with it's going to be like $20, and it comes with its own 20-ounce bottle of water.
Yeah,
to fill it up with.
And it's what I've seen those at the dollar store. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. But now it's going to be, it'll say dripstick on the side. And I mean, I love his nicknames, though. When he walked, he goes, you bunch of splash holes or whatever. And I'm like, oh, and we'd be mistaken to not mention the Riddle promo beforehand, where when he mentioned Randy Orton, he went like he was dead.
Wherever he is.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I'm afraid that they're gonna break up the duo, and I hope they don't. But it's like it's getting to a point. I'm like, yeah, where is he?
And again, he could just be dealing with some family stuff, you know, and he's gonna be back. If he's not there at Money in the Bank to root Riddle on, he's gonna be there on the 19th. He's got to be.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about Randy Orton as the guy. You know, I'm just curious how they're going to explain the storyline absence. You know what I mean? But
he just made a left turn at Albuquerque.
There you go. And he was eating his. He was looking for Riddle's. Oh, the spaghetti western, by the way, his favorite western.
Toy Story 2.
Toy Story. Yeah, like it must be Tombstone. No, man, Toy Story.
Toy Story 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's got that cowboy. It's got a snake in his boot. Man,
I got like a snake in my boot. Not that I'm saying Randy's a snake.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Like I said, I just love Riddle's character.
Yeah, me too.
The persona and the character that he is bringing to the screen, I just love it, and that's why Randy is just the opposite, and they just work together. So I hope they do not break them up, because I definitely need a RK Bro stuff.
Absolutely. What we might not need, honestly, as much. It wasn't terrible by any stretch, but on Monday they had a kind of a thrown together match between Natty versus Rhea Ripley. Solid match. They both played to their strengths. It actually was a good match. Rhea Ripley ultimately did pin the veteran with the Riptide. Charlotte Flair, of course, at the very end did get involved. Channeled her inner Bret the Hitman Hart with the ring post figure 4 leg lock on Rhea. I know I'm getting a little ahead of the visuals, but it just kind of continued to push forward with the women's title match at Money in the Bank. But thoughts on the match itself?
Yeah, it was definitely decent. With some of them, I don't know what to expect, and it definitely is putting that fuel on the fire for this coming Sunday. So the match really didn't do that much for me, but definitely it raised the stakes, at least as far as this part goes. Yeah.
No, exactly. I just hope that, after Sunday, they actually start having feuds involving the other women. Like they could have done the same feud almost, but with, like, say, Natty the whole way. I don't know. That'd be nice to see, but I'm sure they'll deliver on Monday. We'll talk about who we think will win. I think no matter what, it's going to be a short-term victory regardless.
Right.
The show ended on a high note in the sense where they MVP invited Bobby Lashley to return to the Thunderdome because he had apparently left in disgust after his loss to Xavier Woods. Lashley just showed like incredible fierce demeanor. I almost, like, as a fan, am afraid for Kofi Kingston. I hope that they don't book this to be like a destruction. I don't think they will. I think that they have too much to risk there. But Lashley just came out like a monster, but a realistic monster that he's going to destroy Kofi Kingston on Sunday because he's so embarrassed and he knows that he got so off track to what he does best by getting involved with women, more or less.
Right. Yeah, definitely. He's lost focus. He's spent a little more time in the VIP lounge than he probably should have.
Right.
And kind of what Kofi and Woods have kind of, spoken to him about this, called him out on. He's kind of, his eyes are being opened a little bit. So I'm curious to see how much longer the quote unquote hurt business is going to stick around, or if they're just going to have a restructure of management, so to speak, or a come to Jesus meeting, and basically, as long as I have this title, we are in the hurt business, and we are going to hurt people.
Yeah, I think that MVP and him should stay be together. But I was afraid of that, honestly. I was like, oh God, he's going to attack MVP. He didn't. So I do think that Lashley does still benefit from a mouthpiece and having somebody else to make his presence look even more important. But yeah, it's getting him back on track. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Now, as we're coming to the end of our show, we do want to thank you for joining us and staying with us this whole time for sure. We do these shows so you guys can be a part of our internet world, so to speak. And if you want to expand your part of our being part of the New York Nerds family, there's a lot of ways you can do it. We have a variety of different shows throughout the week, including tonight's episode of the Slam Nation. Tomorrow, we have the Game Room. We're either going to be covering Jumanji on the Nintendo Switch. Yes, you heard me say that correctly, Jumanji. Or Nickelodeon Kart Racers. Those are two hot button games right now, but that's what we're playing, and we'd like to share it with you guys. Thursday, we wrap up the Disney Plus series, at least season 1 of it, of Loki. Big things happening there. Funko Royalty is on Friday. Mail Call Mail Time is on Saturday. Sunday is Call of the Wild. Monday's Crazy Card Collecting. The summer is just getting hotter, and so are our shows. Like what I did there.
Love it. Love it.
So if you are watching right now as well, check a look at NXT over on the USA Network. We're getting pretty close to their main event. Karrion Kross, who's had the NXT Championship on a stranglehold for the better part of the last 6-7 months. Rumor has it he's going up to the main roster. He's actually had already a couple different tryouts. And coming in tonight with the title, he's defending against Johnny Gargano. Everybody's money is on that Gargano's going to beat him for the belt. So this could be a pretty big moment on about 30 minutes time, but we shall see.
I like it.
I like it a lot. But yeah, Lord Cash, anything else you want to say to our adoring fans?
No, definitely subscribe to the New York Nerd Show, whether it is on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. If you like what you see, make sure you do spread the word of the nerd to all your family and friends, because we like the love and we like to be loved. So definitely, tell your family and friends about us and all that other good fun stuff.
Fantastic. Well, until tomorrow, everybody, we'll see you. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Adios.